So as of late, people have been asking me, you know, what's my go-to loadout for the tank? What's my go-to loadout for like the tank destroyer, the IFV, the AA? Now, I'm not a super heavy vehicle player in Delta Force. I do use them every now and then when maybe the team isn't using them effectively. The way I approach vehicles in Delta Force is your first job is to take care of enemy vehicles, obviously, and then if you can, take care of infantry. So how I build out all my vehicle loadouts are based off of exactly what I just said. And in today's video, I want to share my M1A4 or main battle tank loadout with all of you. So a lot of this stuff is going to be unlocked later down the line, so you will have to level up the battle tank quite a bit to get like the APF SDS shells. Damn, those shells are always a mouthful. So we're going to start off with the driver's seat, and then weapon station, then weapon pod, and the commander station. You can't change anything in there. So kind of a moot point, but we'll still talk about it real quick. So the first thing we're going to change or equip on the tank is we're going to use the 120mm APF SDS shells. Now these things fly super straight, making it very easy to fight vehicles that are like across the map or really far away. Also very easy to snipe choppers out of the air and even kill snipers that might be way off in the distance. These shells fly so straight, for the most part you won't need to compensate that much, and they do a massive amount of damage to enemy vehicles. So again, taking into account that I said the way I play vehicles, my main job is to destroy other vehicles. That's why I went with these shells. For the secondary weapon, I chose to go with the coaxial heavy machine gun. Lower fire rate than the other one, but I feel it just does obviously more damage to infantry. So the rare occasions in which I do need to use my coax, I would rather have the heavy machine gun equipped. For gear slot 1, so you have two choices here, the smoke grenade or just the thermal smoke. So the thermal smoke is just a better version of the smoke grenade. So if you have lock-ons coming in, deploying this will break those locks for you and then make you impossible to track for a few seconds. So very, very good. Equip that. Now, gear slot 2, a lot of people are kind of torn on this. Do I use the repairs? Do I use the active defense? It honestly depends on how aggressive you're playing as a vehicle driver. I choose to go with the active defense, and I won't deploy it right when I get into a combat situation with an enemy vehicle. I'll try and deploy it when I'm maybe like halfway down in health, because maybe the first shot that the tank driver takes at me or the first shot that somebody takes at me won't hit, so you don't want to waste those valuable seconds during which the active defense system is up and running. So equip that. For the weapon station, I chose to go with the heavy machine gun. Now, of course, this is going to be very dependent on whether you have a dedicated tank crew to work with you. So like if your whole squad wants to hop in a tank, you can just ask them, you know, what's your favorite station on the weapon station, then adjust accordingly, because the wire guided missile is obviously very good for taking out vehicles as well. So you combine the wire guided with the APF SDS shells, you're going to be taking down vehicles incredibly quickly. But for the most part, I'll just have the heavy machine gun on this. For the weapon pod, you have 5 options here. I usually choose to go for the 40mm canister round because, yeah, very, very strong at taking out infantry, even at decent ranges. And you obviously do need people to take care of those infantries because, you know, the tank turret turns pretty slow. So if you have people from behind shooting at you, you know, it's going to be the weapon station or the weapon pod's job to take those infantry soldiers out. So I went with the 40mm canister round, but again, talk to your team. If you have a dedicated tank squad, ask them what they prefer on each weapon station. Then for the commander, you can't change any of these, but yeah, the detector basically detects targets ahead and displays them on the combat network, and then 2 is the scanner. It scans objectives within a certain range and displays them on the combat network as well. So the next part is the appearance. Now, not that I want to like spend too much time on this, but you know, going with the tank skin like this is going to make you stand out quite a bit. And in certain maps where it is a little bit more like sand or it's very deserty, like cracked, or on trench lines there's a lot of foliage and stuff like that, going with a bright yellow skin or a bright green skin, or even like this one which is orange and white, might not be the best choice. So you might want to go with a tank skin that has a little bit more camouflage or less bright colors, like maybe the M1A4, this one, the combat damage skin if you have it, the Black Knight if you have that one, just a skin that doesn't stand out so much so people can't spot you as easily. So yeah, the M1A4 with the APF SDS shells just makes it an absolute powerhouse. You can 2-shot tank destroyers, you can 3-shot the AA. If you're hitting people in the back when you're chasing them, you're going to do even more damage to them, and it is very good at taking out helicopters when they're maybe not expecting to be shot at by a tank, when they're flying somewhat straight, or even when they're going up in the air. It's very easy to track them and then be able to fire your shell at them by compensating slightly, and you're going to be doing massive damage as well. It's not going to be like the other shells where they have just massive drop off and you're going to have to lob those things really high. Now, an argument could be made for those shells that really have like an important arc or really severe arc that you have to shoot it really high up in order to hit people that are really far away. It can technically go above like hills and stuff like that, but overall I think the APF SDS shells are just a better pick for the tank. Now, with all this being said, you can change your vehicle loadouts directly in the game when you're in the spawn screen by hitting the gear icon on the right. You can change anything you want on the vehicle, so you can adapt your vehicle play to whatever's happening around you. But for the most part, for my M1A4 tank play, I really like having those shells on there and the heavy coax, and then the rest of the stuff, you know, thermal, smoke grenades, very good, and I always rather have the active defense system. So I'm not going to get into super detailed ways to approach vehicular combat in this video. That might be something that I will save for a future video. If you build your tanks differently, please let me know in the comment section down below, and why you build your tanks differently. How do you play with them? What do you like the most about the different types of shells and stuff like that? And yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.
Ugh.